Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Tarek. Thank you for answering. Just confirms with me that you can hear me. So hope you're doing well.
Yeah, all is good. I'm almost done with my day, actually.
You're what? Sorry?
I'm almost done with my trading day.
Yeah, awesome. I'd love to hear that. That's
Yeah,
trading in a different time zone.
exactly. Yeah. And especially with all this geopolitical tension, the market have been moving really good, even outside the trading hours. London session was great today. Can't complain.
Yeah. What do you mind me asking what you were looking at?
Right now, I'm in a short and gold. Uh, the theory about that is on the 30 minutes time frame, you'll see that it's been chopping in this area.
Yeah, I'll go look at it in a minute. Yeah. No, I only smiled because of what Avi was saying yesterday or a few days ago about you and trading gold.
Yeah.
I think there was a mention of Mr. T in there, and yeah. All right.
And don't take along on the Nasdaq and London market. That was good. I'll leave it to you. I know you have a run.
Yeah, no, that's I'm going to be looking at that, and I want to share some news too about what I plan in the next little while. I've been saying, I may as well say it now. I've been saying for a while that I've been planning on getting back into futures. I used to trade futures, then I wanted to get into options, which I've done for pretty much all of 2025 up until now, trading equities in there as well. But I'm going to get back into futures. The time decay on options in this type of market is difficult to trade. The time decay options are phenomenal, especially short-term options are incredible if the move happens fast. Whenever the move takes time, you have time decay, and your stop could be on the chart and not triggered, but it gets triggered because of size positioning in the option. So with that being said, that doesn't happen in futures. So I'm actually, I'll explain a little bit later, but I'm going to be doing it in a little bit of a different way. I know Avi was doing it in sim. I'm going to be doing something similar, but I'm going to do it with prop firms. So have some real skin in the game while I'm getting back into it. So, and I'm going to document my my progression in it. So I'm not going to do it this week. Obviously not today. It's Friday. I'm not going to do it next week because in Canada it's March break and my daughters are home from school all week. So I only plan on working until 10:30 in the morning, and then after that, I'm going to be doing stuff with the girls. But the week after that, I'm going to start a Topstep combine, and I'll document it in here and explain. I'm still using all my same setups, which are proven to work. But I'll be doing it with especially NQ and ES, but we'll also be looking at gold and silver and oil. And I will be doing it as well eventually on my own account. So that's what's coming. I'll have something written out just to explain to my students, especially, how I plan to progress with this. So here's what I'm looking at this morning. The stocks are pointing higher. I get this information from Investopedia or Investing. I thought I'd show it on here. Investing.com, the economic calendar is fantastic. It shows, I filter it. Actually, I may as well show how I do it. It's right down here. Where's the filter? Right there. So the filter is here. I filter to have Canada because I'm in Canada, the US and the UK. And then you hit apply filter. And then it gives you the UK right now I'm going to ignore, but it gives you especially the 3-star that just pinpoints the importance. So the 3 stars here are saying that core PCE, what was predicted month over month, over here was 0.4, and year over year, the important one was right here. The PCE price index was predicted to be at 2.9, and it came in a little bit lower at 2.8. So that's how I look at what I want to see at 8:30. And then the other one is usually at 10 a.m. So this one, once we're within an hour, it tells you that it's 38 minutes away. And the important one at 10 a.m., the 3-star, is the JOLTS job opening. So I've put it here as far as what I'm looking at 10 a.m. So that just means that if I'm in a trade, I'm going to look at the possibility of getting out before the 10 a.m. news breaks. Or if there's something I'm looking at, I'm usually going to wait for a 5-minute candle to close after the news, because it becomes incredibly volatile right at when the news drops. Oil prices slip after a recent surge, but they're all over the place depending on what news we're getting on what is happening in the Gulf. So they surged and then now they're pulling back. The PCE was a number at 8:30. It was a little bit lower than expected, and a little something else that was in the news. Adobe shares drop as the CEO is stepping down. I don't know why. I don't trade Adobe, but I put it on here because it could have an impact on a few other things. So there you go. That's what I'm looking at. I'm going to look at the higher time frame now on my 10 tickers. I'm going to mark levels and alerts. So let's do that. I'm going to do it on TradingView. And that's another thing. I'm thinking of discontinuing my DOS. If I merge completely to futures, I think I might stop using DOS, because when it comes to charts, TradingView is so much better. That's in my opinion. So Apple, I'm going to go back to the 30-minute time frame, and I'm going to look. There might be some stuff. I've been backtesting different things here and explaining some different concepts here. So I apologize if there's a lot of lines on my screen. So Apple dropped yesterday, found support around this area, and has been chopping in an area here. Above pre-market high here. There's room to the left, but that was a massive red candle here. So if it spikes up here, I would look for a possible rejection. So what I look for here is a kangaroo tail that comes in, gets a liquidity, and then sells hard. If it were to do that, I'd be looking at yesterday low as a target. Not going to set an alert because it's just going to go off as soon as the market opens. If it does break out above here with momentum, and then R3 becomes support, this might be a long going back to the, where are we? The high of yesterday, or just before the open yesterday. So 2 possibilities I'm looking at there on Apple. 924. 30-minute time frame. Similar story on AMD. AMD came down yesterday, found support and chopped around here. And at this level here, I'd like to see it take out the liquidity above pre-market high. I am working on an indicator that's going to put these on here. I have used one, but the same indicators I've got on DAS as pre-market high, pre-market low. Yesterday high, yesterday low, and the close. Those lines I find incredibly important because the market does react at those levels. So I will be adding those to my TradingView chart as well. So very similar very similar chart to Apple, and I'm going to be looking at basically the same thing. If we break out above And I'm going to be getting a new version of TradingView as well. I'm going to get the full version where I can get, tons of tabs open. So anyway, those are all coming. So yeah, possible break and retest or possible rejection. And again, not in the first 5 minutes, and probably not in the first half hour, because I want to see what the news drop at 10 a.m. is going to do. Amazon over here. This was just a sim trade. I don't know why it just came up, because it was stopped out way earlier. Take that out. Just something I'm testing out with futures. So Amazon yesterday just basically chopped in this area, and it seems to be in this area again. So for me, there's nothing to see here unless we take out the bottom around this area, or if we trade above the highs of yesterday. I'm not interested above these wicks because they were just wicky up here as well. But above this wick over here, right? I'm looking at the opening wick here. Above there, I might be interested. So set an alert. But where it is right now, not interested at all. Sorry, I get alerts on my phone, on my watch. Just want to see if there's anything in the market, and there wasn't. So that's what it is for Amazon. Google dropped, found support at this level. This was a level that I had on here previously. This is exactly where it bounced. If you look at the kangaroo tail setup on the 30-minute, this would have been a nice setup right here. Stop is a bit further away. So depending on where, if you zoom into the 5-minute, once this broke, it probably would have given an entry model to get in there, and then to be able to get at least 3R out of it until the end of day. What I'm looking at on Google is it needs to come above pre-market high, and then I'll look to see what it does with the wick that we had up here. And below, from where it is right now, there's no room to the left until we get down to this level over here, right? So I don't need to put an alert over. Well, I guess I can put one right here. If it doesn't happen today, it might happen on Monday. So we're very close to pre-market high here, probably trigger right at the open. If it does, I'll look at it, but I'm not planning on taking anything right away. Meta, continue on. Meta dropped yesterday, looked like it found support pre-market and is just tanking right now. So let's look left. These wicks here do not seem to have be holding support. So if it were to come back to this area, it might be a breakdown, retest of the area, and then a further move down. Not really interested in a long over here unless there's a lot of buying. Let's look, what does the 4-hour look like? There's a 4-hour fair value gap over here. Yeah, surprised that, well, surprised it's who knows what it's going to do, but it broke down below this possible, well, it used to be an area of support. Now I can only assume that it's going to be resistance on the way down, unless we're just wicking down, fine buyers, and then moving back up, but not really interested in Meta today. I don't know why this comes up every time. All right, so Microsoft been chopping around this area. I did have a level here. We came down below this level. This seems like a pullback structure, right? As in it's going down, it's pulling back, but that pullback is, 50% of maybe this area over here. If I were to put a fib here, you probably see that it's close to 50%. Click, and there's the 50%. Right, so from here to here, pulled back 50%, and possible further move down. But in this choppy area over here, I'm not incredibly interested. If it were to come down below here and then show some buying, it might be a signal. Oh, there's no use of putting that there. It's going to get triggered right away. Yeah, it just got triggered. So let's get rid of these alerts that I don't need. By the way, the market's open. If you guys are still listening to me, I'm sure you're looking at your own things, but I'm going to continue my analysis. There we go. So we got rid of everything. Oh, did I get rid of all the alerts? No, all the inactive alerts. Delete all inactive alerts. Don't know why it's not happening. Anyway, okay, let's continue. Yeah, there you go. All those were taken out. For those of you trading the open, good luck. Room to the left on Nvidia. There's definitely room to the left from where we are right now, getting into above yesterday's high, even yesterday's pre-market high. So this will be an interesting area. We might be making new highs. For me, I'm not interested in this right now, just because it's 9:31. We've already broken out here. So I might be looking at the breakout, which seems to be happening right now. If it comes down and retests around R4, it might be an area to get in for the further move up. Tesla broke down yesterday, pulled back probably close to 50%, right, from the breakdown area. This is a perfect visual of what a pullback looks like, stair-step pullback, and then a further drop, but found strong support at this level right here. If it were to come down here and sweep down here and then find buyers, it might be an area to go long. I might be interested in this a little bit further along once the market puts in the first half hour. Let me go over here. And over here, I've got a couple drawings on here that I'm going to get rid of. There we go. Oh, and get rid of that one as well. So a really choppy day yesterday in Qs after that initial drop. Pre-market, we dropped and found support and put in some interesting candles over here. If the Qs were to get to R4 here, and I will put an alert above a pre-market high. It did put in this wick over here. If it were to come back here, that's where I'd be interested. But what is really interesting right now is that the move seems to be lower, found support, pulling back here, and then put in this kangaroo tail candle here. If it makes a new low underneath 599 or 600, this could be pulling back down to the lows. But again, if it happens in the next few minutes, I wouldn't be interested. If it continues to chop along in here and then takes out liquidity at the top, I'll be looking at it again after the first half hour, or possibly a short if it breaks down below here, again after the first half hour. Okay, pulling back, nice stair-step pullback. Want to see what it does above pre-market high. Does it reject, or do we just continue above R4? Would be very interesting. So that's what I've got for now. I will look at NQ. I was doing a replay, and that was the sim trade that I tried earlier. Just something that I'm trying with position sizing on TradingView, because when I traded futures, it was not on TradingView. I traded it with DOS. I will put fibs on here, and I will put an alert down here. So from pre-market, this is on NQ. Pre-market low was down here, found support. We wicked up over here. So this is a swing high. Alert on Amazon, I'll go see it, but it's still a little bit too early. If we chop down here, down to CP, the central pivot area, which is also the 50% retracement. So if we chop down here and then find support at this level, I'd be very interested in taking a sim long on NQ as I am slowly getting back into futures. So I'm going to put an alert here. I want to know. Let me know if we start pulling back down here, and then I'll explain what the entry criteria would be. There you go. That's what I've got for the first half hour. So the alert that I had set on Amazon was I wanted to see what it did at pre-market low as well as yesterday's low. Now that it's wicked down here, we want to see what does it do? Do we find buyers here and then close up above this area? Or does it become a flush? And if so, I'm going to wait for the retest a little bit later on. If it possibly does retest, and then if that scenario happens, then it might be a short at that level. Any questions or comments, please don't hesitate. Arval on what we were looking at, Amazon 59%, low Arval. Low Arval on these four over here. Meta seems very high. I don't know if that was just an opening trade on Meta. Let me just put my volume up. Yeah, volume doesn't seem any higher than previous days. I'm setting an alert on Meta for the retest of 628. So if it were to come around 628 over here, which is at 628 is S4. 620, 36, 620, 36. Yeah, so if it retraced over here, I've got an alert just above the wick here. Just gonna put one of these lines here and get rid of that. Move this one here. There you go. 628 might be a little bit high. 627.30. 627. There you go. So the reason I put an alert on TradingView over here is why I want to see this seems to be a good breakdown. I want to see what happens when we come back into this area for a possible breakdown, retest of the area for a possible short for the move down lower. Hopefully the wicks are easier to see now that I've put them white. I think, Dan, you were asking, and I know you're not the only one. I know they were hard to see. So hopefully that helps. I am planning on changing my entire setup of what I share here, especially when I start doing futures. I'll still be looking at equities as well. SPY approaching pre-market high as well as yesterday high. This could be a very interesting area. If it breaks up higher, I'm going to have to change my fib tool on NQ. On NQ here, right? So that's where I've got it right now. There was a pullback. If it makes a new swing high, I would have to move this along, and I might have to move my alert as well. What's gold doing? 467. So Microsoft put in that that's why it happens right in the beginning. Put in a wick underneath pre-market low, and the long would have been possibly just above PDC. Could be finding resistance over here, but seems to be doing a proper move. There's not much else going on other than Qs and SPY approaching pre-market high. Very curious to see what happens at this level. And we had this wick over here, pre-market high as well as yesterday's high. What happens here? Only 40 cents difference between these two here. Very similar situation on Qs. However, yesterday's high is a few dollars away. As in SPY, it's only a few cents away. Here's my alert on Qs. That is a strong bullish candle above R4 right now. So I want to see how this 30-minute closes. Very strong Microsoft. This is a incredibly strong candle. I know a lot of 5-minute ORV traders would have taken this long. Zero wick open right beside tiny retest of PDC, and then poof, off it goes. So this is a very strong signal. Hopefully those people would have taken profit by now, because 402 to 404, $2 move here is, or taken some profit. I'm not saying that they would get out completely, but okay, I'll be back in a minute. This SPY candle up at the top here is very interesting. Could be a rejection area. However, with 10 minutes before what could be important news, I'm not willing to get involved. Similar candle formation on Microsoft. And that rejection is at R4 for those of you who follow Camarilla pivots. That is a level of possible resistance. The drop is happening too fast for me to be able to have proper RVR for the short here. Just to clarify, I'm not getting into anything on SPY and Qs before 10 a.m. If there was a setup that I could get into that would happen fast, it's more of a scalp, I would possibly look at it. Now that this candle body here is that big, it's no longer a kangaroo tail for me. It could still reject, but for me, this stop loss above the wick here and entry here is way too big. But for scalpers, there's definitely some scalpers that will take this short back down to BDC here. If it breaks the low of the 5 minute. What does it look like on a 2? And on the 2 minutes, it's already at R3. These are very, very narrow pivots. So. Yeah, that's very bearish now. Look at this candle. Even skipped over here. A little bit of a slippage here between the low of this candle and the open of this one. So not a signal to short, but there's a lot of selling going on. Probably some profit taking from the people that saw this nice move here. A little bit of panic saying, oh, I'm getting out of here. I'm seeing my profits, over here starting to get greedy that we're going to 500. And then, we start reversing. So people might be getting out here. That's a reversal candle that I like on the Qs. That news might be a nothing burger, but you know what? I could always look at it. Yeah, that would be any other day. This would be a short for me with a stop right above here. Probably aiming back down to around 600. What would that be? Let's look at it. Let's look at it on TradingView. There you go. So the short would be right underneath R4. There you go. Short there. Stop above the wick. Where would 3 be? Oh, 302. There you go. So entry, once that wick was put in, possible entry below here. We'll just leave it there. Look at it after. After the news, that is. set an alert above the wick of Qs, just to see that's a stop out area on that sim trade on TradingView. Anybody wants to Forex Factory? I see that Tarek put something in there and he had to leave. Not quite sure what he was looking at. Oh, the calendar, Forex Factory calendar. Oh, I'll look at that after. Oh, NQ's gone right up to R4. Kissed R4. And at this point, he's going to take out the stops above R4. Seems very strong. I mean, from pre-market low, I was looking at this around 5, right around here. Long there would have been incredible. Little microstructure double bottom here. Yes, that made a new low, but tweezer bottoms right there on the 5. Incredible move on NQ. Let's see what happens in 5 minutes with the news. And the news could be a nothing burger. So just, jobs numbers, who knows with what's going on in the economy right now, if it's going to have that much of an impact. SPY chopping around pre-market high and yesterday high. I'm obviously not the only trader that's waiting for the news at 10. There's that pullback into Meta I was looking at. Where was my alert? Yeah, it's approaching the alert. 628. Just FYI, if I had taken this this kangaroo tail short setup, the fact that it did not work quickly, especially with options, I'd be out already. Even though my stop is up here, because the news event at 10 a.m., if there are tons of stops above here, they're going to be taken out. So that's how I would react to it. Watch it. It could just dump. But at this point, right around my entry here, it'd be, you know what, it's not worth it 1 minute before, 2 minutes before the news drops. Right? I'll wait till after the news drops and see how the market reacts to the news. And again, the JOLTS job numbers sometimes affect the market and sometimes they don't. But if the number is way off of predictions, then we could absolutely see a move. Here. 6.7. Whenever I see price action slowing down like it is right now, like it's really stuck in a very small area right before news drop, then that's where I assume there's going to be quite the move at the news drop. And it is 10 a.m. The numbers have come out, and there doesn't seem to be much of a move yet. Interesting price action on Qs and SPY right now. So is this the pullback I was looking for on NQ? Would have to come all the way down here. There you go. Other it's set. So what I'm looking for on NQ is this move right here from the bottom, pre-market low to the swing high here. I want to see if we retrace 50%. That's what I'm looking for the continuation long. Just from like on a micro level, from opening low to high, this is a 50% pullback. Let's go to Qs and I'll show what it is I'm looking at. So that pretend trade, I'll leave that there. Actually, I'll just move it out of the way here and I'll put it back. So what I'm looking at, the structure now is from here to here. That's a 50% pullback from the highs. So depending what it does here, if it prints a strong bullish candle, this could be a continuation higher. Or on the higher structure, from pre-market low to here, it would have to come back down below the low of day. Oops. Oh, wrong key. There we go. All right, let's put that back. That's my kangaroo tail strategy here that I did not take because it was right before a news drop. Let's see the what if. There's the pullback on Meta. Thank you, Eddie. All right. No, you're okay. Okay. Don't know if anybody's involved in anything yet, or if there's something that you guys see that I don't. Meta's approaching my level for a pullback. Right, so this was the move down, but now it's pulled back pretty much the entire way from the open, and it's making new highs. So I'm not convinced. There's the alert on Meta. What it does here would be very interesting, but I don't like it. They do at 628. And it's got very high Arval, but there's nothing on the tape. Very slow moving. And quite the spread, which is surprising. With Arval at 200%, you would not expect a 35-cent spread. But I mean, you're not going to get a penny spread on a stock that's $630. Just another thing to look at is, right, as soon as you get in over here on a market order, you'd be 50 cents underwater right away, or 30 cents right now. 20, it's getting a little bit tighter. Not necessarily something you can scalp at that with a spread like that, unless you've got a multi-million-dollar account, which I don't. Q's trade is approaching 3R. Right, that reversal, kangaroo tail. That is exactly what I look for, by the way. Let's take a minute to look at it. Room to the left? Absolutely. Back to yesterday's opening. So there's definitely a lot of room to the left on this KT candle here. The KT candle that I trade is always a 5-minute candle. It wicked up and then closed near the bottom. For my ideal setup, I would want it to be just under R4. Even R4 is at 602.28. Doesn't mean that it's at that penny. So in this general area, I'm okay with it. I prefer that the move happens right away. And then the entry would have been right at the break. Stop above the wick. And then aiming for 3R. So I had trouble putting it exactly at 3 here. There we go. Right, so that's the trade there. If it had happened right away, like if it broke down right away and we had come down close to R3 on the next 1 or 2 candles, I would have partialed out 80%. I would have put my stop back to break even, and I would have kept it till probably S4, depending on structure, leave the last 20% just to run. But I did not take it for mainly for the news reason, the 10 a.m. news. And it's Friday, and the market seems to be moving pretty slow. It's a big run up. I mean, honestly, I'm more interested in the long if it can happen before 10:30. I mean, if it can come down here and then show a lot of buying at that level, which was what on NQ, 64,600. Come back down around 64,600 and show a lot of buying, I would be interested in going long in NQ. Just show it here. Right, we found support at the bottom here, and then we put in a swing high here. So I've drawn in the fibs following Amal's webinar from last week. Had a great conversation with Amal yesterday. He is preparing something for another webinar on futures on prop firms. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, if it can come down here and wick down into the 50% or the golden zone, as we call it, it might be a possible entry for the move higher. Might be. So that's what I'm looking at for after 10:30 or whenever, if and when it happens. That rejection on Microsoft was an obvious short. This, when I see this, I see a candle like this, and then the open, there's zero wick here, and then the open is actually lower, and we never wick up. If I were in a short here, and I was planning on a short, but this candle became too big for my entry. But this right here is a very, very strong indication that the sellers are in control. This down here, very strong indication that the buyers are regaining control. Double bottom, wick down. If it had closed right at the top here above pre-market low, this is a good signal for a long. This is very similar to my Kangaroo tail long on Microsoft. The reason I said 10:30 is if we make new lows after 10:30, if we break the low after 10:30, the likelihood of going back to the highs is less than 50%, or it's depending on edge full. If we break the low of the IB, the initial balance, the first hour, the likelihood of returning to the tops is very unlikely. I think it's 70% that it's going to stay below the highs. I need to, I'm going to research that and I'll share it next week. The actual rule, not a rule, but the stat. Interesting price action on Meta. Do have it on my screen here. That is the pullback I was looking for. I don't like trading Meta. If the candle closes red on Meta, small size, I might take a short for the breakdown and retest. 30 seconds. 25.50, depending on the spread and the formation of this candle. $625.50. Be like a $2 spread, but this thing can go $6 very easily. So it did not close incredibly bearish. Did close red, but what happens at 625.50? $625.73 to be exact. Let's put the book on. Not a lot of orders, no big orders, that's for sure. Some orders coming in here. There you go. So I'm short. Did it go through? It did not go through. Oh, that's what I've done. It's a problem with my montage. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm glad it didn't go through. I'll put it in as a mistake. It did not go through. It's a DOS thing. I double clicked to enter, but it didn't get the price properly, so it didn't put me in, which turns out to be okay. One of those times that a keyboard mistake actually helped out. Well, I'm saying that, but stop would have been above the 627.55 on Meta. I don't like these weights. $627.57 here. I'll put it in as a short right here. 627.57. There you go. And that's what I tried to do, which is the breakdown, the retest entry was below the wick here, right there, and stop would have been above the wicks, aiming for S6. I'll leave it on there, and we'll look at it on Monday, see how it would have panned out. With 4 minutes before 10:30, there's not much else I'm looking at. I will set alerts on ES and NQ for the 50% pullback and the possibility of taking a long. The Qs, a kangaroo tail here, would have worked. We're not quite a profit target yet. I will leave this on as well and discuss it on Monday. So we've got that to look at. Meta, that's about it. Google, nice structure here for a pullback. Don't like this indecision candle here, but this might be, if there's another bullish 30-minute candle here, this could be a possibility for breaking the highs here. I know we looked at Microsoft. Microsoft, I talked about the 5-minute here. This that structure, Nvidia. Nvidia seems weak, or pulling back, I should say. Tesla. Interesting level right there. What will it do if it breaks down? There's possible resistance or support over here. If it breaks down below there, then we're possibly going back down to the 387 level. Qs, R3 seems to be possible support. Stop is above the wick. And that's about it. What was gold doing? Tarek was talking about a short in gold. Hit that level again. Pulled up, but seems to be weak still. I'd be looking at the 50.66 area as possible support. Okay. So that's it for me. No trades for me yet. It being Friday and the fact that the kids are home, I don't plan on being at the computer, but I will have alerts set just to look at it. Right now, like I said before, starting to slowly get back into futures. I will talk more about it next week if anybody's interested in my path, what I'm going to be doing to get back in. And I'll be sharing it on here. So I'll look at the chat to see if anybody had anything to say. Doesn't look like it. Uday, I don't remember your name. I haven't seen you in a while.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I stopped trading for oil. Now I'm trying to get back.
Yeah. I remember your name. We've talked before, haven't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Great to see you back. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm here usually if Ali allows me, I'll be here every morning from 9:15 to 10 and 10:30, and I just share what it is that I see, and then Avi is often on after me or at noon. Look into the room and you'll see what's going on. He announces, I think people are playing poker this afternoon. Yeah. So 10:30, gang. I'm gonna log out now. So have it. Sorry, Uday, if you don't mind. Nice seeing you, bud. If you don't mind taking your microphone off, there's a little bit of an echo.
Oh, sorry.
That's weird. That's okay. If you have something to share, absolutely turn it back on. But I just wanted to say, have a great weekend, everyone. Hopefully, you're keeping it green. And if there's any possibility, I might be in the room later on. I know on Friday afternoons, Avi and a group of us sometimes play poker. So come on in and come and join the fun. If not, I'll see you guys at 9:15 on Monday. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you.